There's banging on your door, the kind of banging that shakes the windows. You go to the window. You count 3 vans, 2 unmarked sedans, and a helicopter you didn't hear coming. FBI, police, SWAT, all of them here for you. You have 4 seconds. You run down your hallway and out the back door. Glass shatters somewhere behind you. They're already inside. You hit your yard at full speed. 12 steps in, something hits you from the side. But first, let's go back 10 years and see how you got here. You are 32. You teach breath work at a yoga studio. $40 a session. Some weeks you book 4 sessions. Some weeks you book 0. You live on rice and ramen. 3 years ago, you had your second panic attack in a week at your job. You walked out the same day. Your therapist suggested breath work. The first time you did it, sitting on a yoga mat in a stranger's living room, you cried for 40 minutes. The woman running the session held your hand the whole time. You went deep. You took every training. You read everything. But what worked for you wasn't in any of the books, so you started teaching it yourself. You taught 1 client at first, then 5, then 15. They told you what was happening in their bodies while they breathed. You took notes after every session. You started keeping a journal of patterns you saw across people who had nothing in common except their bodies and their pain. One night, a client stays after her session. She cries for an hour. She tells you she has been holding it in for 15 years. She tells you she didn't know that's what she was doing until tonight. She tells you you saved her life. Her name is Maya, and you believe her. Maya comes back the next week, then the week after. She brings her friend. The friend brings her sister. The sister brings 2 coworkers. By month 9, you are filling the studio every night. You start a podcast in your bedroom. By month 12, 47 people are listening. The audience grows, but the real shift is the phrase. You don't remember when you first said it, probably during a session with a woman who couldn't stop crying about whether she was doing the work right or wrong. You told her, doubt is just unhealed trauma. She stopped crying. She looked at you. Then she cried harder. You watched her face change. You watched her exhale a kind of breath you had never seen from a client before. You wrote the phrase down in your journal that night and started. The phrase lands every time after that. You start saying it on the podcast. You start saying it in workshops. You start saying it at the end of every session. People tattoo it on themselves before the year is over. You hold your first weekend retreat. You call it an intensive. 12 people, a converted barn, $1,200 a head. It sells out in 6 minutes. By Sunday, 6 of those 12 will become your inner circle. You don't know that yet. They don't either. Her name is Sarah. She's an ICU nurse. 3 months ago, she watched her mother die of brain cancer in the same hospital she works at. She held her hand for the last 41 hours of her life. She hasn't slept since. At 4 in the morning on a Tuesday, she finds your podcast. She listens to all of it. She buys a ticket to the next intensive. The intensive runs 3 days. On the second night, Sarah breaks during her breathwork session. Real breaking, the kind you've only seen a handful of times. She's on her back on the wooden floor of the barn. Her hands are over her face. She's making a sound that isn't crying. She's saying her mother's name. You hold her for an hour. You don't say anything. You just hold her. When she finally sits up, something in her face has rearranged. She tells you she's not going back to her job. The intensive ends at dusk. 12 of you stand in a circle in the orchard behind the barn. One of the men has dirt on his cheek and tears running into it. Another is barefoot. Sarah is in the middle of the circle. She is the closest to you. You utter the phrase, "Doubt is just unhealed trauma." Nobody speaks for a long time. Your inner circle is 10 people now. You started calling them the family as a joke, but after a few months, it doesn't feel like a joke anymore. It's just normal. On Sunday nights, the family eats dinner together at the barn. It's a long table. Sarah usually cooks. Maya brings the wine. You teach a short reflection before the food. At first, it was just a nice weekly get-together with the family. But after some time, missing one became unforgivable. All 10 members of the family soon moved to within 30 minutes of the barn. Most of them quit their jobs to focus on the teachings. Meanwhile, Sarah becomes something like your assistant. She runs the intake calls, the prep sessions, and the integration calls afterward. In her 6 months, she brings in 47 new members. She's very good at this. Maya runs your accounting now. Her office is in the second floor of a shed at the back of the property. A woman from one of your intensives sells her home to pay for your highest certification level. You let her. You never have to ask anyone for money again. A breathwork session goes wrong. Sarah is the participant. You are the facilitator. It's supposed to be a routine release, but midway through, Sarah lashes out. Her arms swing wide and hard. You escort her outside before coming back in to finish the session. By the end of the night, Sarah is apologizing and you're pouring her water and telling her that's what release looks like. Sarah runs 3 intensives in the same month. She brings in 180 new members. She does not sleep more than 4 hours a night. By the end of the year, the community has a name for Maya: Mother. The first person to say it out loud is a 22-year-old who came in through Sarah's October intensive. He hands Maya a check at the end of the weekend and says, "Thank you, Mother." Maya does not correct him. You watch from the doorway. You don't either. A follower's husband shows up at your retreat one Friday afternoon. He's 41. He has been married for 14 years. His wife came for one intensive 8 months ago and never really came home. He drives up the gravel road. He gets out of his car. He asks for her by name. You watch from the barn window. Your security removes him from the property. But first, he approaches Sarah and his wife. You can see him shouting. Then he hands something to his wife, a piece of paper. She doesn't say anything, but she keeps the paper. When he's gone, she goes back inside and asks Sarah if she did the right thing. Sarah tells her she did. Then she reveals the paper. It's a business card for an exit counselor, someone who specializes in helping people escape cults. Sarah takes it from her, but she doesn't throw it away. She slides it into her desk drawer. That night, you add a new rule. At every intensive from now on, phones go into a locked box for the full duration. A journalist publishes the first skeptical piece about your community. It's not hostile. He spent 4 months on it. It does not say you are a cult. It does not call you a fraud. It just lists things. The price of the deeper certification, the number of members who have joined, the contract every member signs, the non-disclosure language, the way you do not let anyone leave a retreat early. A woman named Anya publishes an essay. The title, "I Escaped a Cult." She was in her circle for 2 years. She left 6 months ago. In the essay, she writes about her father's funeral. She missed it. She was on a retreat. She didn't find out he had died until 3 days afterward because the phones were in a locked box. The essay hits 400,000 views in 3 days. By the end of the week, 3 former members have written their own essays. You tell your community that doubt is the wound speaking. You tell them that some people aren't built for the depth of the work. You tell them that the people who leave are people who were never going to make it. Meanwhile, a new member is wavering in one of Sarah's intensives. She tells Sarah she doesn't know if she can keep doing this. She tells Sarah she misses her sister and that she's losing weight she didn't mean to lose. Sarah looks at her. She opens her mouth to respond. She hears herself say it before she thinks it. Doubt is just unhealed trauma. She watches the new member nod slowly. She watches the new member start to cry. She knows the look. She has seen it on 100 faces over the last 5 years. But something feels wrong. This woman needs her real family. Sarah doesn't say anything. She then buys a notebook, a small black one. She writes the date on the first page. Then she writes everything she has seen in the last 5 years. The names, the amounts, the session details, the phrases, the people who left, and what was said about them afterward. She keeps the notebook in a metal lockbox. The journalist has been working on a documentary about you for 14 months. The release date is 8 weeks out. After learning this from your security team, you aren't able to sleep. You tell your inner circle that the work is in danger. You tell them that everything you have built, the community, the families, the people who finally feel okay for the first time in their lives, all of it is 2 months from collapse if you do nothing. You ask if anyone has thoughts. Maya raises her hand. Maya, the woman who told you you saved her life 9 years ago, speaks for a long time. She says the work has to be protected. She says she knows people who know people who can handle this situation. You don't ask what she has in mind. When she finishes, the room is quiet. You don't say no. For 3 nights, the inner circle meets at the shed. You don't go inside. You don't ask what is being said. You sleep at the barn. On the 3rd morning, Maya walks back across the gravel at sunrise. She nods at you through the kitchen window. You nod back. Nothing needs to be said. The journalist sits down for dinner with his wife and daughter. It's the night before their documentary screens for a small audience of investors. They're nervous about it. They order a bottle of wine to celebrate finishing. The chef who plates the entrees took the job 2 months ago. She's a member of the family. They eat, they laugh, and then it happens. The journalist and his daughter are fine, but his wife isn't. She collapses onto the ground. The ambulance arrives, but it's too late. Meanwhile, Sarah was in the room at that Sunday meeting when Maya revealed she had a plan. She watched you keep your mouth shut and let Maya continue. She's watching the news when she sees it. At the bottom of the screen reads, "Food poisoning death at restaurant. Family member of journalist critically ill." She calls the number on the business card she saved years ago. Deep down, she knew she might need it someday. The exit counselor picks up on the 2nd ring. She tells him she needs to talk. It's a Wednesday morning in May. The fog hasn't lifted yet. You're out of bed before your brain catches up. You don't grab your phone. You don't grab anything. You run. Glass shatters downstairs. Then there's yelling. Then your name. Then boots on the ground. You run down the hallway, through the kitchen and out the back door. You make it 12 steps into the orchard before they hit you. Your face goes into the dirt, a knee on your spine, your wrist pulled behind your back. It's over. And the crazy thing is, you never really said yes to any of it. You just stopped saying no.